Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Lynnette Stephens, and it is my sincere desire that because you follow me on social media, that you will be inspired to get creative and to create a cozy home. I want to come to you tonight and share an idea with you. One of my sweet followers asked me earlier today for an idea for a fall centerpiece. And my initial reaction was, well, I would just come live tonight and show you guys how to make the one that sits on my dining room table. But, I live in Oklahoma, which is kind of close to Texas, and sometimes I have a tendency to do things big. Big centerpieces, big hair, big whatever. So I sent Terry, my sweet friend, a picture of my centerpiece, and she's like, well, that's maybe a little bit bigger than what I had in mind. So I decided that I would do something on a smaller scale. And my hope is that by sharing this with you guys, that it can give you an idea. You don't just have to use this as a dining room centerpiece. You could use it on a coffee table in the living room. You could use it on your entryway table, coming in by your front door. If you've got maybe a smaller kitchen island or even, a larger kitchen island, but you don't just want a really big centerpiece on there, I think this will work for that too. The other funny thing that I wanted to share with you guys before we get started, hello to my sweet friends Julie and Cheryl, Crystal, and Clarice. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I guess this is all my homebody friends because we're all at home on a Friday night. But anyway, I appreciate you girls joining me. My initial reaction was, well, I got to run to the store. I got to go buy some things to make a centerpiece tonight. And then I stopped and thought, that's ridiculous. When I want to encourage you guys to look around your home and use things that you've already got to decorate your home. So I thought, if I want to try to encourage you guys to do that, then I need to also live by that same rule. So I just started looking around the house today, and I came up with a few things that I already had on hand and got my creative mind going and thought, I know exactly what I'm going to do tonight. So I literally have just gathered up some things that I already had. I didn't make a trip to the store today. So I think maybe these might be some things, especially if you're even the littlest bit crafty, or probably some things you've already got laying around your house too. And if not, I'll talk to you about where you can go and pick these items up. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So if you guys saw the little sneak peek that I gave you a couple of hours ago, you know that we're gonna be using some yarn tonight and some crochet thread. And if you stare at these for a minute, you might figure out that I'm getting ready to turn these into, anybody wanna guess? Any guesses what I'm going to do with these before I start? Hello to my sweet cousin Brianna. Thank you for joining me. My sweet friend Sherry and Sharon and Carol. I appreciate you girls. Okay, I'm going to turn them into pumpkins. So we'll go ahead and get started, and we'll get started with this guy. Now this one is one that I did pick up recently at Hobby Lobby. And the price on it, you'll see it's $5.49, and I got it when it was 30% off. So if you look, Hobby Lobby will run these 30% off, or you can also use your 40% off coupon and pick them up, at a discounted price by using your coupon on your phone. So that works too. And I literally walked outside to Mr. Stevens' workshop and picked up what looks like a pumpkin stem. And I'm going to use this as my stem and this ball of yarn. And you guys saw this already comes in like a pumpkin shape. Now, if I'm going to be doing neutrals tonight, but you guys don't have to do neutrals. You can pick, orange pumpkin colors, the rust colors. If your colors are gray, you can do grays. You could do whatever color you want for your yarn. This is just what I had picked up the other day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some hot glue, and rather than put it on my piece of wood that's going to be my stem and try to stick that down in there, I'm afraid as I start pushing that the glue is just going to gather up at the top of the yarn and be a mess. So I'm going to take my glue gun and I'm going to put my glue kind of down inside of it, okay? This away, so I can control where the glue is going and not have it just scraping up. Now guys, if you guys have followed me for a while, and those of you that have been to my home know that I have a very rustic taste. So even when it comes to, you know, deciding which end of the little scrap piece of wood, I make sure that I put the more rustic, maybe even kind of dirty looking end at the top, because that's what I like. But you guys can do whatever you want. But I do that so that I sure enough get a rustic look on the top of this guy. Okay, so let's get all of our stems put on first. And this guy, I'm gonna cheat. I'm not even gonna hot glue him in, because there's already some little nubbies, if you will, on the side of the stick. And this really is a stick that I just picked up out in the yard and cut. So I'm just going to stick that guy in. I'm not even going to glue him and let him just sit there. And then the next one is some yarn that I have had for years, and I literally, I don't know if it's called back in the day like angel hair type yarn, because that's kind of what I used it for years ago. But anyway, I had just taken it out of the skein or skein, whatever it's called that it comes in, and I had just wound it around itself to make it into kind of a ball shape. And when I walked in there today, I thought, that kind of already has a pumpkin shape. So I didn't do anything to this. I already had him kind of in this shape, so that made it easy. And then I looked and found this little wood spool. It's like, you know, a thread spool that I've also had in my collection for a while. You guys can use anything. If you don't have this, use another stick or another piece of wood, you know, scrap, trash, whatever. This is just something I had on hand, and I thought it was really cute in here. So, same thing. I'm going to put my hot glue on the top of the yarn again, just so I can control where that glue's going. And then I'm just going to stick and kind of smash down my spool. And you guys, I didn't buy this spool this color. They were the lighter, just bare wood color, and I had stained them for a project years ago. So he was already stained. So if you buy these, and you can get them on the unfinished wood aisle at Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure if Walmart has them, and I'm not sure if Michael's has them, but I know Hobby Lobby has them on the unfinished wood aisle back in the craft area. And they're just going to be a bare wood color. So if you want a little bit of color, just use a little wood stain. Wipe a little wood stain on there, and that gives it kind of that color and kind of antique look that I like. So you can do it that way. Hello to my friends Cheryl and Tori. I haven't seen you girls since last night, so it's good to see y'all on here tonight. And my friends Debbie and Lisa, I appreciate you girls. Anyway, so I'm going to turn this around and let you guys look. Already kind of a pumpkin shape, so I got real lucky on that. But like I said, if you have to get yours, you can, you know, take it apart and just start rolling it. And then if you do that, you can also control the size of how big your pumpkin turns out. So that's kind of neat too. All right, the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to put these back out of the way so you guys can see. I thought that it would be super cute if we added leaves, and they're not really leaves. It's going to be probably look more like a bow, but to mimic leaves, I picked this kind of wider net looking burlap to go on my bigger pumpkin. So I'm just going to do some trimming up here, because this is some of the ribbon that we've been using in my workshops, and sometimes we get to talking a lot, not paying attention, and kind of cut things a little willy-nilly. So I'm going to have to straighten this guy up just a little bit. So bear with me here. Anyway, I'm just going to cut a piece, and I'll let you guys kind of see what it's looking like. And if you're going to use burlap to do the look of leaves, I would suggest that you get some that's got wire in it, like this one, because if you don't use a ribbon or a burlap with wire, it's just going to kind of hang there, and that's fine if you like that look. But if you want your leaves to kind of stand up, then make sure that you buy your ribbon with some wire in it, because it does make a difference. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this little skinny jute rope, and I'm going to kind of find the center. I'm going to get this out of the way so you guys can see. I'm going to find the center of my little piece of ribbon, okay? And I'm going to just cut off some of the string, the rope, and find the center of it, and I'm just going to wrap it around the center of my burlap. It's going to give us a little bit of volume right there in the center of our bow, kind of beef it up a little bit, and it also gives us a way. Well, I was going to say, I think I am going to tie this guy on. I think we'll tie him on. Let me see where I think this will look the best. I think I like it around here. So we'll tie this guy on. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, I almost forgot. I had this cute little eyelash yarn, and I thought it would look good if I wrap it around the stem first and kind of let some of it hang down in the front. So let's do that before we put our burlap on. And the same thing, guys, I am literally, because this just adds like another texture to it, and I thought that would be fun. So just wrap it around your stem. I'm not even going to glue this. There's no need. And I'll wrap it. I'm going to actually tie this twice, like so. And then we can look at it in a little while and see if we want to trim up the tails that are hanging down, okay? So we'll put that on. And then this guy, I also forgot, I want to tie him off. So I just wrapped it around the center. You guys saw that a few times to kind of beef up our ribbon there. What we're going to use as leaves. And beef that guy up. Now he looks a lot better. And then I'm going to decide, so you guys can go through the thought process with me here. If we tie it on and maybe leave these hanging, I think I like that. So let's tie this guy on to our stem. And then you can also put a little hot glue on it if you want to make sure that it's not going anywhere. But I'm not too worried about it. So, and listen, you could add more of this little eyelash if you want. You could put 2 or 3 strands of that on. When we do our DIY workshops here at the house, we have a tendency to agree that, you know, the more the better. So you guys can put as much of that on as you want, okay? So let me turn him around, let you see. Pumpkin number 1 is finished. Doesn't get much faster than that, guys. So he's done. So let's move on to this guy. And I decided he doesn't have a whole lot of texture going on because he's crochet thread, all right? Not yarn, he's crochet thread. So I picked out this super cute, I'm trying to figure out which way. I think I like his stem leaning. This kind of thinner lacy ribbon. And I'm going to use that to tie around him. Okay, get that out of our way. Alright, let's tie this around this guy. Alright, same thing, we're just going to tie it around the stem. Alright, and get him tied on. Guys, this is super easy and very cost effective. This is not an expensive thing to make at all, which you guys know if you've been following me for a while, those are my favorite kind of crafts. So, and you can make some really cute home decor for not much money. You just got to think outside the box. All right, he's looking really cute. Now for his leaves, I decided to use let's see here, this burlap. And it's not quite as wide as what we used on the first guy, but it's going to be wider than what we put on our other guy there. All right, so we're going to go through that same process again. I'm literally just going to hold this ribbon up next to my pumpkin so I can decide about how big I want my leaf to be. And guys, this is a personal preference. There is no rocket science to this. You literally hold it up to whatever looks good to you. And listen, if you make it a hair too big, that's okay. Because even after you got it on, you can still cut it and trim it down in size if you want to. So we're going to do the same thing again. I'm just going to cut some rope and going to wrap it around the center of my ribbon, of my burlap, so we can beef that up just a little bit. And because this guy's kind of, his stem is a little shorter, I don't want to make the center of my leaves too chunky on this one because I don't want it to take away and kind of overpower the stem, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to tie this off on the back, okay? And I'm going to tie it one more time. And guys, if you wanted to bring in a little bit of green on here, you could use greenery, you know, leaves off of some green bush, fake bush that you have. You know, you could use those on here as well if you would rather. That would work great too. So I decided tonight that I wanted to just do an all neutral look for you guys, but you could absolutely bring in some color, even if you were using the cream color threads and yarns like I'm using. You could still dress that up and add some color with whatever you pick for your leaves. So, all right, that guy's up maybe a hair long on that side. Let's cut him a little bit. And then just get these however you like them. And let me look at this guy here. All right, so we've got that guy done. And I'm going to scratch his leaves a little bit so it won't stick out so big. Pumpkin number 2 is done. Guys, this is a fast project. So I was pretty excited about this one when I realized today that I had everything to make a centerpiece and it wasn't going to take much money or much time. So, okay, here's our last guy, and for him, because his stem is so short, I'm going to use even a thinner piece of burlap so it doesn't overpower this little short stem. Want to be real careful. And I decided, I don't know if you guys, if you can see it in the video or not, if it comes across, but there's already a lot of texture going on this guy because of the angel hair. He's pretty hairy and furry looking, so I didn't feel like he necessarily needs anything else hanging down to add texture because we got a lot of texture going on just simply by the nature of the yarn type, okay? So this guy, I want to keep him pretty simple. So I am, for the center of this one, we are literally, I'm only going to tie this once with, I guess I could move that out of the way so you guys could see. I'm only going to tie this guy off one time in the center because I don't want a lot going on in the center here to cover up our cute little stem, otherwise known as a spool. So, all right, let me see here. And I'm just turning him, and you guys need to do the same thing, trying to figure out what looks good as far as a front side to him. And I think I'm pretty happy with that right there. So now I'm going to tie on my leaves. And like I said, guys, if you don't want to tie them on, I could have just as easily just put a little dab of hot glue right there and just stuck my ribbon down in the hot glue, okay? So however you want to do it. And then on this guy, I'm trying to decide, let's look at this and see if we think we should leave. You know what? I really had it in my head that I wasn't going to leave any of the jute rope on. I thought I'd cut it all off, but I kind of like it hanging down the front. So I think we will go ahead and leave that. I like that. I think it looks good. So we'll go ahead and leave that on. All right, and if you guys use like this angel hair to do one of your pumpkins, and I could have done this before I went live, but I didn't think about it, you could use hairspray and just spray this guy so that you can kind of keep his fine hairs intact. And I didn't think about doing that before I went live. So, okay guys, the pumpkins for our centerpiece are finished. Doesn't get much easier than that. What I want to do next is I'm going to share with you guys just some ways, because let's face it, these guys sitting by themselves, you know, there's not a lot to that. So to pull this off, pull everything together and have it look like a centerpiece, we need something with some bulk. So I found 3 different things that I wanted to share with you guys. And the first one is, let me move some of my pumpkins so you guys can see. And I'm going to try to make sure that I keep this. Thank you guys for your sweet compliments. I appreciate that. The first thing I'm going to use is this cute little wood box that Mr. Stephens has made. And I thought this would be real cute. If you guys don't already have something like this and you like what I'm getting ready to do with this, you can pick up little wooden boxes like this at, I know Hobby Lobby has them, of course, on the unfinished wood aisle. I'm trying to think. I don't know that Walmart has something identical to this, but they are going to have something almost like a little pallet type board, and you'll see in a minute I'm going to use something similar to that, and they might even have a box. It may not be as tall as mine, but still it would look cute. And even if it's the just bare wood color, you could stain over it to give it the same kind of patina, if you will, that my box has, okay? And then the other thing that I wanted to be sure and share with you guys tonight is this super cute roll of burlap ribbon that I found at Walmart yesterday that we used last night in our DIY workshop. Guys, I am in love with this. We used it last night on the tall pumpkins. I don't know if you guys saw my post, the tall pumpkins set that we made last night. A lot of the gals use this on the top of their pumpkins to embellish them, and super cute. But I found a new way to use this afternoon, and I'm in love with it. As a matter of fact, I'm probably getting ready to start using some of it this way around my house because I love it so much. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to drape this, and you guys are going to have to bear with me and give me a little grace here because I'm doing this backwards to me so that you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. So bear with me if it takes me a minute to get it right. So what I'm going to do is I am making sure, before I keep going, if you like this, this is at Walmart on the floral aisle. So it's where they have all of their fake flowers and their wreath forms and their florist styrofoam. It's on that aisle is where I found it. So if you guys want to buy some, that's the aisle you need to go to. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm just going to have some draped off. So if you pretend that this is on your table or your coffee table or whatever, then you, I think it looks better if you have some, hanging off of it. And then we're going to do the same thing on this back side. So I'm just going to cut back here and the amount that I think will look good. And I think this length will also work on the other two ideas that I want to share with you for how to use your pumpkins. Okay, so you see what I've done. You just want to have your ribbon, your burlap ribbon that we're going to be using more as, a scarf, if you will. Remember when your grandma used to always use the scarves and she used to embroidery on them? Same thing, but this is 2019 scarf. That's what I'm going to call it. All right, so then, now here's where I'm going to need grace from you guys because I'm going to be doing this backwards to me. And I can't really see it in my screen because of the comments. So you guys will just have to bear with me here. All right, so you can take your pumpkins and whatever looks good to you, put your pumpkins, up on this tray. And then if you want, I thought this was a cool idea, so I wanted to share this with you guys too, is I've got this neutral colored little fall bush that I picked up last year at Dollar Tree, $1. Guys, I promise you, these don't look like I paid $1 for them. These are, for fake flowers, are a really nice quality. The good news is I was in my local Dollar Tree yesterday, and they have them again this year. So if you like these, then you can pick these up for $1. So what I would do is just take these, and you saw what I did. I pulled it. I'm just pulling it off of the stem because we don't need the stem. We don't need this to be tall. And just tuck. And guys, one thing I want to encourage you, don't forget, if you're using this on a coffee table or your kitchen island or your dining room table, don't forget that people, especially if they can walk all the way around the table that you're going to be using it on, decorate all the way around your centerpiece. Don't just do the front. Now, if it's on an entryway table or any table that maybe a buffet in the dining room that's up against the wall, it's fine to only make sure you got your flowers in the front. But if you're using it anywhere else, then you need to make sure that you think about what the back looks like as well. And I can tell you guys that the back side of this, even though I've got my pumpkins all facing the same way, the back side is super cute too. So just don't forget, throw you a little deal of flowers, and you guys saw what I did. I'm just tucking them back behind. Now, if you don't like the green in there, because I know a lot of you gals that do the real neutral look don't like that, that's fine. Just take the leaves off and just stick your flowers there. That's a completely a preference. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this back apart and I'm going to share with you two other items that I have on hand that I can display my pumpkins on, and I'm going to take it apart and then we'll put them back on there, okay? So bear with me for just a minute. The other thing I want to tell you guys, if you like the idea of a tray look, I was in Dollar General yesterday, so think yellow sign, black letters, Dollar General, and they had they have a little craft aisle, and on that craft aisle, they also had a little wood tray. The sides are, I don't know, maybe 2.5 inches tall, but it's super cute. It's $7. It's bare wood. Buy you some stain it, and do this, you know, your burlap, your whiter burlap, and your pumpkins in it. That would be super cute too, and $7. So that's a pretty good price. Okay, the next thing I wanted to show you guys is a wood slice. I actually picked this up at Hobby Lobby the other day. And guys, I think this size here, which is, I don't know, we're getting right at a foot probably wide on this. It's $14.99, but I used my 40% off coupon. So not a bad deal. And you know, you may be lucky enough that you have something like this literally in your yard. If you do, that's great. I've also seen them on Amazon, and I think I've seen them cheaper there. So later tonight or tomorrow, I'll try to hop on and put a link out there for you guys, for those of you that might like the idea of using a wood slice, okay? So same thing, I'm just going to use our, and this might be a little bit long, I'll just take it off the back side so it won't look so funny. Same thing, we're going to put our burlap on, and you know, you could even have your burlap out front, you know, twist it up a little bit if you don't want it just laying flat, you know, to add some interest, whatever. Don't worry about it. I'm going to take pictures of these tomorrow too when it's brighter outside and post them so that you guys can look and see the 3 different ways that I'm staging the pumpkins, okay? All right, and once again, stick our pumpkins on. I'm going to put them in a little bit different order this time on purpose so you can stick your pumpkins on and then come back with your, you know, if you like that, there's nothing wrong with just leaving them like they were either. But if you want to add just that little bit of floral touch, just find you a couple of places and stick your flowers in, and you've got a super cute centerpiece, especially these colors for all of you that really like the neutrals. And keep in mind, and for those of you that might have joined a little late, you don't have to use the neutral colors on your yarn and your crochet thread. They had some gorgeous orange colors. They had a real pretty, like a mustard yellow that I thought would be real pretty. So for those of you that like the traditional look, if you look behind me, you know that's me. So everybody who likes the traditional fall colors, pick the traditional fall colors and do the same thing that I've done tonight, but use your fall colors. Or maybe you just add your fall colors in whatever embellishments that you pick for your pumpkins. So there's that. All right, let's take this back off again. And you guys can see, and the reason I'm going through this is just to encourage you to look around and see what you've already got. Maybe you've got an old silver platter. That would be super cute to have your pumpkins in. Maybe you've got, I don't know, an old stoneware platter that belonged to Grandma. You know, use it. You guys don't have to go and buy everything that you need to make your centerpiece. Work with what you've already got. So just look around the house. I literally looked around my house today and came up with these. And had I had a little more time, I probably could have came up with a few other things. You know, do you have some cute plate? You know, I've got wood plates because I love wood plates, and I've collected them for several years now. And had I thought about it, I'd have grabbed one of those out of the tote out of my garage where they currently are, and I would have showed you how you could use that. So literally for your display piece, it can be anything. Hence this, yeah, picked this up out of Mr. Stephens' wood pile. I don't know what it was for, left over from some project, but I loved it because it was already stained, and I didn't have to go buy anything. So I thought, I need to show this to you guys. Grab a board, literally a board. And I know at Walmart, they have things that look like this on the craft aisle. So you could pick up, now theirs might be in 2 or 3 pieces where it's made to look like a pallet sign. Pick that up and stain it. As a matter of fact, I think they have some that are already like a grayish stain and one that maybe has like a whitewash. Pick one of those up. I don't know, I don't think I ever looked to see what the price is, but pick that up and use that as the platform for your centerpiece. And since this guy's a little bit wider, I brought in one more pumpkin to use that's also a neutral color. My sweet friend Felicia crocheted this for me last fall, and I absolutely love it. And so I thought, well, I'm going to bring this guy in too. Oh, wait a second. I'm getting ahead of myself again. Let's get our burlap. I'd still use the burlap on here, guys. The reason that you want to do this, it just adds a different texture. And especially with this looking like net. So having this burlap looking net on here really adds some interest to your centerpiece. And if you guys notice, this really is pretty decent too at holding its shape. So I am purposely, you know, having it stick up in places to just add a little interest. So it's not just flat across your platform, whatever you're using. So grace, remember you guys have to give me grace. I'm doing this backwards to me. So anyway, just start placing your pumpkins, you know, and like I said, I have no idea how this is looking. So you guys, and this guy, you know, some of your pumpkins, you can, let's see if we can maybe do it like this. You know, you don't have to have your pumpkins all sitting flat either. This guy right here, because he's heavier than what some of these others are, he can easily set up, especially if he's propped up next to one of the other pumpkins. So I'm just going to prop that guy up and have him at an angle. You guys can do the same thing. You don't want your pumpkins all lined up perfect, so you notice I'm just doing an irregular pattern with my pumpkins. It creates more visual interest when you do that. Don't line your pumpkins up. And you play with it. You know, you may not get it right the first time, and that's okay. So you play with it, and you move it around until it looks good to you. Now, one more thing I grabbed. If you guys have seen my front porch pictures through the summer months, then you know that this little sign, this little wood sign that I picked up at Hobby Lobby, has been sitting out on the table on my front porch. So I ran out there and grabbed it because I thought, and I can't tell, guys, it might be a little big, but I know it's smaller, so I thought, you know, you might even could find just a cute little sign. Hobby Lobby has tons of cute ones right now, and I can tell you one that I absolutely love, I know, is in the fall section, and it's on the aisle where they have all the black and white buffalo check. There's a super cute little sign that's white, and it says, you know, it's fall, y'all. I don't know. There's a couple of different ones. Welcome, friends. I can't remember what the other one says. Something about fall. And they're super cute. And I think they're like $4 and then 40% off. That would be real cute, especially if you were doing like a black and white or a gray and white theme. Then that little sign would be super cute. So you could just stick a little sign on. And that, again, is just to add a little something else to our centerpiece. And then I'm just going to take some of our flowers and just tuck them in. Guys, I can't see. I don't know. Y'all have to help me. Is that too much? That might be too much there. I don't know. Or maybe we don't want the greenery there. Let's take the green off of that one. Okay? And then on this guy, I want to make sure that I stick my florals back behind as well. Okay? So just tuck some of those guys in. And I think I want the leaves on this time. So I'm going to grab my leaves, stick those in, and for a little of nothing and very little time, you guys have seen how fast we've done this, you would have yourself a super cute centerpiece that's unique, that doesn't look like everybody else's. Can you guys see? I might need to move this over. I think I was cutting it off. Anyway, so you can have a super cute centerpiece that is unique, different, doesn't look like everybody else's, for very little money and very little time. So I hope that this has encouraged you guys to get creative and kind of think outside the box. And to be honest, didn't even think about this before I went live. You literally don't even have to use yarn and crochet thread. Whatever, look around your house. What do you already have on hand that's shaped like a pumpkin? If it has a pumpkin shape, and I don't care if it's metal or wood, think outside the box, guys. Can you paint it to look like a pumpkin the way you would want? Find unique things for your stems. I mean, I've used sticks, a piece of wood, like lumber type wood, and a wood spool. So just think outside the box. What can you use to do your stems? And then go for it. Hot glue it on and make yourself a centerpiece. So I hope this has encouraged you guys. And the one more thing I want to mention before I hop off of here and have Mr. Stephens take me on an ice cream date. Do you guys do ice cream dates? We like ice cream dates. So we're going on an ice cream date when I get done with this. So if you don't go on an ice cream date, you should, because it's fun. I mean, we're heading down to Sonic and getting some fun ice cream. So go on an ice cream date with your spouse. It's awesome. Anyway, and you're welcome for that little side note. The other thing I wanted to mention to you guys is I have some what I think is very exciting news coming that I'm going to be sharing with you guys next week. So if you want to be on the list of people that are going to find out about my exciting news first, then drop your email address in the comments below, or if you don't want your email address listed there, you can send me a private message and I'll make sure that you get added to my email list because I'm very excited about what's coming next week. So that's coming next week, and the tour, fall tour of our home is also coming next week. And I realize you guys get a sneak peek because you can kind of see my fireplace mantle behind me, but that's okay. So I'm going to be going live next week and sharing some decorating tips with you guys. So I'm really excited about that. So anyway, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being good to me. Thank you for joining me on a Friday night. If you guys, Shelly, go get you some ice cream, girl. Go get some ice cream. Ice cream's good. It's just good. But you guys, I don't even know where I was going with that. Shelly made me forget what I was saying. Anyway, I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you coming on. If you've got family or friends that you think would enjoy my video, would you make sure and tell them about it? I would appreciate that. And then I also will come on and look in a couple of days and see who who told their friends about my video. And I'm going to drop a little something in the mail to somebody. So I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all for always being good to me. And I'll be back on with you the first part of next week. So thank you guys, and y'all have a great evening. Bye-bye.